Hi, Alicia. How's it going?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I got to screen the film a couple weeks ago, so I just want, and I've been a big fan of yours for a while. So, thank you for taking the time out to talk to me, Queen. It's a
Of
pleasure.
course. Well, thank you. Such a pleasure.
um, I guess just to get things started, your character Kathy and then Justin's character Antonio have a lot of ups and downs throughout the film, like a lot of
Mm.
families do. But they're just trying to, do their best and make things work. What was it like crafting that dynamic with Justin, especially since like he wrote and directed the film? And were you familiar with Justin's work beforehand, before signing on?
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I think I read the script. I saw
Uh,
Go coming out of Sundance a few years back, and to see the journey he's made. I mean, for him, it's obviously the truth as an Asian, American actor. He had proven himself in what the films he had done, and yet, of course, he had troubles getting work because he has Korean parents, and
mhm,
then for him to kind of then step up and decide, I'm going to write, I'm going to act, and I'm going to direct, and I'm going to make this film for nothing, and then he did such an amazing job. And so I was a huge fan of his in that sense. And then of course when I read the script and we got the chance to have our first chat, you know the more I get to know him, the more highly I can speak about him. and
mhm,
and to see you get to work with people that you look up to and that you are impressed by is, I think, the beauty of what I do. And
mhm,
then getting to work and see the preparation he had done, not only behind the camera, but then in the role of Antonio. I was amazed, and then it was just a joy. I think we immediately had a good vibe, and that makes it
mhm.
easier to portray a relationship like theirs.
I definitely love the vibe. Y'all's chemistry is off the charts, and I wish it worked out for them, but I love them.
Let's hope it does down the line
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
And it was nice to see the film like highlight Asian American communities and immigrant communities that weren't like LA, New
Yeah.
York, or San Francisco like they usually are. Did you learn anything new about like these pockets of communities, especially filming in the South, or like what was that journey like, especially getting a film down there?
Yeah, for sure. And just the fact that our set was, I don't know how many countries. I think it was like over 20
Mhm.
countries represented in our crew, which wasn't
Lovely.
that big. And I think that's the beauty with is a books, filmmaking, art in general. That you get introduced to stories or new aspects of people's lives, and that you hadn't seen before. And that comes with then the people that I got to meet on a very personal level. That's the fun thing about making films. I get to kind of go to places and get introduced to cultures and have relationships that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So it's always quite meaningful, and this one particularly.
Mhm. It's the kind of representation I've always wanted to see. So thank you again and congrats.
Cool.
That's all the time I have left. But thank you so much,
Thank
Alicia.
you,
It's a
Raffy. Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
More, more Laura Croft.
Let's hope. Woo!
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
Hi, Justin. How's it going?
Hi, Rafi. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I got to screen the film a few weeks ago, and I just want to say congratulations and thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. It's an honor.
Absolutely, of course.
Um, just to get things started, I was wondering, well, representation has come a long way, like in recent years, especially like Asian representation. But I feel like a lot of like the mainstream titles we've been seeing are like kind of like idealized and sanitized. And what I liked about Blue Bayou is that it showcases this like realistic, important like story that we're really not used to seeing like on screen. So you could talk about the intentionality of like bringing that story to the forefront and why you wanted to do this kind of story for and in the film.
Yes. If we're talking about representation, I think, part of the Asian American experience is the adoptee experience. My goal is to bring empathy to our community as a whole, and adoptees are part of that. Um, I'm not an adoptee; it's not my story, but they are part of the community, and I want to tell all of our stories. I want to make sure that all of us are represented, and I want to use my platform to do that.
Well, it's really appreciated because, like I mentioned, like I haven't seen anything like that on screen before. So good. So only thing I like about him is Kathy and Antonio have like a lot of ups and downs, but like a lot of families, but they're just trying to make it work. What was it like crafting that dynamic with Miss Alicia V. Vikander, Miss Oscar winner, and getting to work with her? And
Yes, I mean, she's absolutely, the best. I mean,
Mhm.
Alicia is, she's just magic, and and you just work with her and everything, and I can only perform as well as what my partner gives me, and man, she elevated me so much. I couldn't even start to thank her enough for being a part of this project. So I don't know, it's like when you have an actress of that caliber, it's seamless because she just makes it so easy because she's so fully realized. All I have to do is make sure my preparation is done and just be present with her.
It was nice to see good chemistry. And it was also nice to see like the film highlights like Asian American immigrant communities that aren't in, LA, New York, or San Francisco. Did you learn like something new about like pockets of Asian communities, especially like filming in Louisiana, and like anything new about the immigrant experience while creating this film?
It was the reason for me to place it in New Orleans. A lot of Vietnamese people were relocated to the South, and to Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. So I definitely in this film wanted to get two adjacent cultures in one film, and they could, kind of see how they have similarities that they can relate with, and also differences, but more similarities. And our experience is so diverse, just like we are as a community in this country. But I think the experience in the South is very its own particular thing. Um, but also just a beautiful just enclave and community of Asian Americans down there. Just I my part of my heart will always be New Orleans. I spent a lot of time there even before even writing this film, without even having thought about making this film. So yeah, I learned a lot, and just that
Mhm.
it's all beautiful.
Mhm. Well, this is the kind of representation I feel like the Asian community deserves. So thank you again. That's all the time I have left,
Thank
but
you so much,
thank you.
Rafi. Yeah, thanks for taking the time.